Okay, she got it. She's back and she's got recording. Fantastical. Welcome back, everyone, to another Crypto Vagabonds event. Let's wait until we are live on Facebook. Are we live Facebook, Mia? You remember the steps?
Mm-hmm.
Not timeline, but group, and then instead of
yes, just a second. It's loading.
All right, let me know when we're there.
Mm-hmm.
We are there. Okay, so welcome everyone once again to another.
Not yet, but the page is loading. Okay, it's happening, I think.
Okay, we are on the Crypto Vagabonds group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so welcome everyone to another event at another Crypto Talk. Remember, this Crypto Talk occurs every Wednesday, and today I have a very special treat to you guys. We have a very special guest. His name is Moustafa. He's a lawyer. He came to the Academy, and the contribution to the Academy was so much that we felt obliged to bring him to this group. So in the Academy, of course, he came for a whole an hour and a half event, but here's going to be a briefing of that. So Moustafa, we have about 15 to 20 minutes. You don't have to share everything you shared on the Academy. I just want to give a heads up to people here, like what Moustafa is going to be sharing with you guys is something that a lot of people will be paying top dollar to have access to a lawyer to share those insights with you guys. What we're going to be sharing with you is insights on like better jurisdictions, possibly interest on moving your company to another jurisdiction, or maybe acquiring yourself another citizenship if that's your case. So Moustafa, without any further ado, go for it and share what you have to share with us, man.
Sure. So good evening, everyone. It's like 9 p.m. here. Good morning for the people in North and South America. Just like to give an introduction about myself. I think most of you have met me before, whether it was in Clubhouse or in a previous meeting that we had. My name is Moustafa. I'm a lawyer. I've been in Dubai for 7 years. Started working in the immigration industry 5 years ago. I worked for a very reputable law firm, and then maybe I think 8 months ago, I started doing this on my own. I established my own company, and I'm quite good at it. I just would like to give you an introduction about what we're talking about today. It's pretty much alternative solution for people who are dealing in crypto to relocate to other places, whether it's in the Middle East or Central America or even Europe. There are too many options available for you, and it depends on your own needs. What kind of places would you like to go to, or what kind of communities or environments you would like to live in? Some people look for business opportunities, some people look for healthcare, others look for low tax rates. So I'm going to talk about pretty much maybe 3 countries in general that grabbed my attention. 2 in the Gulf, specifically UAE and Bahrain. 1 in Europe, which is Portugal. And I'm just going to give a glimpse about Panama, since mainly they had a program which most of the people qualified to. Now they have a program that only include friendly countries. So pretty much, if you would like to relocate for whatever reason, maybe it's a plan B for you if your country is not providing you the proper healthcare, taxing you way too hefty, or you're not getting the life standards you're getting as maybe safety or quality of life. There are quite good options on the table. For example, on top of the list, we have United Arab Emirates, which is Dubai in the Middle East. Mainly Westerners have this idea about the Middle East that it's pretty much not a inhabited destination, but United Arab Emirates and most of the Gulf nation have proven otherwise, with the high quality of life and the very safe environments that you're living in, the great business opportunity. Maybe that it's an international hub. It's like 6 hours from Europe, 6 hours from Asia. So it's in the middle of the two continents pretty much. You can simply establish a company in Dubai and start doing pretty much your business. If you're a business person, if you're just if you're trying to take a break or you're trying to relocate to somewhere else or you're trading cryptocurrency on your own, you don't need a business. You can still also like open a company and do your trades and live in Dubai or in any other emirate inside the United Arab Emirates. I'd like to share with you, like, why would you take a decision to move to this part of the world? Like, what grabs your attention as a Westerner or as someone who lives like across the ocean or in Europe? Why would you come and move here? First of all, it's very safe. I believe we talked about this before previously, and we've mentioned it. It's very, very safe. Almost the minimum crime rate, I guarantee. If you look at the statistics, it's very clean, very vibrant as cities, very like having very many people from like different countries. Like there's a huge I would say multi-international people here from everywhere. You will hear about nationalities you've never heard about. People are here to do business. So when you meet somebody here, you're kind of on the same page. You guys are both coming to do business. So it's not like maybe back in the United States where everybody's actually residing here just because it's their home country. Actually, people do reside here because they do business here pretty much. When it comes to the residency, it's quite simple and there's no tricks about it. You simply open a company, you sponsor yourself for residency, whether it's going to be for 2 or 3 years, depends on whether you're going to choose your company to be a mainland or a free zone. The only tricky part here in the Middle East in general is the healthcare. You have to pay for your own healthcare, and it's not quite affordable. If we're talking about like an average budget for healthcare, it's going to be $1,000 a month compared to maybe Portugal, where the average is like maybe $400 to $500. I'm sorry, a year, not a month. So that's the only tricky part about it. Apart from this, it's a pretty solid country and one of the best options I see to relocate to in 2022. A lot of Westerners have been coming to Dubai, especially after COVID. They've seen that like how efficient the regulations of COVID were actually that was put in place here were working, and you didn't have to be locked down like as what happened or compared to what happened in Italy, United States, or some European countries that they were on full lockdown and people couldn't resume their businesses. Government and laws are quite flexible here, like they're up to date. That's one good thing about it. So you're not going to worry about one day someone is taking your business or putting a law that is going to affect your business negatively. They take in consideration that this country is like a business hub for foreign investors. So they make sure that the laws and regulations are accommodating them perfectly and it's not bothering them or hurting their businesses. That's about United Arab Emirates. But would you like to?
I wanna add a few things that I think is very significant. I think a lot of people have this belief because I mean I have been talking to you for a while now. I think a couple of months, and we are taking steps into. And I'm gonna just like be very clear here. Like none of us are like profiting from each other here. Like on this, we just literally just share information, and nothing that we say here is financial advice and whatnot. But like I personally, after hearing of Dubai and the Middle East, Moustafa and I have been talking. We are going to be moving our financial activities ourselves to that location. And I think the things that I really was impressive to me was the police relationship, like citizen versus police. I think that was one thing which I have heard from Mia. Mia has been in the Middle East herself, and I heard her talking. To me, it was like really hard to believe the police citizen relationship. And the second thing that I really got my attention is we have this view that the Middle East women have to be wearing burqa, and there's no opening for Christians and so on.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned Dubai is very different. So I think those are two things I think is very important to demystify. The thing with the police and the burqa and whatnot, I think for the sake of everyone here, I think Mia could speak on that because she was there and she's a woman and she can speak from like her position as a non-Muslim woman. And I think she can also testify to the police relationship. And then I think we'll come back to you and you can also say how things are there. I think those are two things I think is very important to touch on and share with the group here. Mia, would you mind sharing what is your experience with the police and your experience as a woman on Qatar and Dubai, please?
Yeah, well, I lived in Qatar for 8 years, and Qatar is much more conservative than Dubai. So what I'm sharing here, Dubai is even better than what I'm going to share with you guys. In Qatar, for example, as being a European woman and I'm not Muslim, the only it's not even a restriction, but I would say during Ramadan month, you would just out of respect to the local culture, you'd maybe, cover your shoulders and don't wear anything above your knees, but that's in Qatar. In Dubai, I haven't seen anything like that. I didn't see any discrimination or like a special attitude towards women, nothing like that. It's actually the opposite. I'd see more respect there. Like I would go back home to Russia on vacation and I would be surprised why people in the queue are not letting me in, because I got used to special, special treatment there in Qatar. So yeah, I think from that side, the media, the Western media is showing us something which is completely opposite of the truth. Yes, Moustafa.
And the police as well, police, and then we'll go back. And then we go back to Moustafa and a question from the audience. Go ahead.
The police is okay. I was driving in Qatar for 7 years. I was stopped only twice because it was just a regular checkup of the documents. Everything is always done with the respect, and the police is there to actually help you, not to find some fault with you. It's just there to help you. Once I was driving in the middle of the night from a nightclub with a car full of girls, and the police stopped us. It was 3 a.m. in the morning. There was nobody in the street. No, actually, police didn't stop us. I had a problem with my car, so I had to pull over, and I stopped. And the police came, and the only question they asked is, "Everything okay? Do you need any help?" I said, "No, we are fine. I think I just have a problem with my car, but I already called a friend. Someone is coming." Respectfully, they said, "Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy your night. We just go away." And whenever you see people like have their tire, they need to change a tire, or there is any issue out of the city in the desert, you will see police stopping and helping those people to move.
And changing tires. Usually in the morning, you see police officers changing tires.
Yes.
So, I just would like to finish on that part with the police relation, and then I'm going to answer the question of directly. Police here, when it comes to the relationship with foreign women, I would say, and that this is by the end of the day considered as a Muslim country. It doesn't bother at all whether it comes to whether you're wearing a hijab or not. Matter of fact, women here have, I would say, like absolutely, women here have more rights when it comes to dealing with public authorities than men. Like one rule here you see as as a single man, never ever like make a problem with a woman here, because if she called a police officer, you're in trouble. Like even if you're right, like that's how it is. Whether she's foreign, a local, a Muslim, or whatever, that's not the point. When it comes to respecting the religious beliefs of the Muslims. They do respect it fully. However, it's known, especially in Dubai, it differs from an emirate to another, but especially if we're talking about Dubai. 3 years ago, you couldn't eat in public during the day in Ramadan as a foreigner or as an expat. They changed that. Actually, you can eat in public, but the restaurant will be shaded, like they will put shades. So if someone is walking by, you cannot see you eating. But they changed that 3 years ago. Now you can eat. Actually, bars are open even 2 p.m. I remember that. Like, all is good. When it comes to public beaches, everything is allowed except, I believe, except drinking in public. That is not allowed. You can drink in a bar, you can drink in a beach club. Like, I think like everything is allowed except, of course, drinking in public. Driving and drinking, of course, not allowed. Huge thing here. Drugs in general are prohibited, even weed, hashish, whatever you call it. It's not like Netherlands, for example, where you are. So it's a huge thing here. Drugs is a huge thing. It's a huge legal accountability. So that's when it comes. But apart from this, they are really, really, really nice. I said before, it's a pleasure that a police officer will stop you. It's a really, he will ask you about your day. He'll ask you about how's everything. He might tell you a story. Everything is fine. When it comes to the other question for the healthcare, I thought that would bring an attention. You can bring the home country or the system, the healthcare system of the home country. I didn't quite understand that, but if you have an insurance, for example, in another country, because this happened to me, I have an insurance in Egypt. I can use that insurance here depending on the company that I'm insured with. Well, I don't think if you're insured by the government of another country, you'll be able to use that healthcare here, unless you brought bills of your medicine, for example, or an operation you've taken inside the country, and you got a reimbursement for it from your home country. That's a different question. And for Renata, how you doing? Pleasure to meet you again. The average cost is around, I would say, $3,000 to $4,000 a year. If we're talking about a very, very good health insurance, like that covers everything. If we're talking about a medium tier health insurance, I would say $1,000 to $1,500 max. Like a medium tier that is not going to cover dental, maybe some other like beauty things, maybe I would say. But it's quite expensive compared to the rest of the world, I would say, because in Portugal, even in Europe, it's not that expensive.
But Moustafa, just clarify, you're talking about like if someone wants to be a full year resident of Dubai, yes. That's when they're going to need insurance. Like we're still not talking about like in case you're there temporarily and you move your company there. We're talking about like if you want to be there long term,
permanent.
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 Go ahead. Yeah.
Actually, it's legally, not permanently. It's a temporary residency still. Like you don't get a permanent resident here. You get a golden visa if you own a property more than 3 million dirham, which is $1 million. You get it for 10 years. But even the golden visa is a temporary visa. It expires by the end of like the visa itself, and you renew it again. So there's no actual permanent visa here. You cannot be a permanent resident in this country. It might be.
There's just one thing though. I will say 1,500 and even the 3,000 per year. I think it beats America in terms of health insurance. In terms of
so. In this case, it might be more like if you're like, for example, my mom lives with me here, right? When I got her insurance, she's 67 years old and she have like maybe a heart disease, I believe. So getting an insurance for her were more expensive than getting an insurance for me, maybe triple the price for me. So it differs it differs like how good your health is, pretty much. But I would say it is more affordable than the US.
And one thing that I also think is important to touch here for people like who may not want to commit and move and be like most of the year in Dubai. Like I would like to touch also on the benefits for the business. Like if you just move your corporate person, so to speak, and you remain a citizen of another space, Moustafa.
Sure. So business here is a very, very, very fast-paced. I would say fast-paced in every sense. Banking, getting approval from the relevant authorities. What should I say? Opening a bank account is quite like easy compared to other countries that when you're gonna open a bank account, it's quite a nightmare. Banking transactions are quite easy. Like you don't need to go to the bank to do this or to withdraw cash. Like you just do it online. Even obtaining your trade license. Actually, I will cover like, hi Fuzzy, how you doing? I wasn't talking about Qatar. I think Ismail was talking about Qatar, but I'll cover like maybe 3 to 4 countries. I'll cover Bahrain, UAE, Portugal, and Panama. And I'll talk a little bit about second citizenship and the relation to the crypto investors in general. So back to what we were saying. The facilitation of the business, even the business license, you get an approval online. You don't need to go to the relevant authority yourself. Things like that, everything is digitalized, I would say. One of the goals of the government, the new government of Dubai that was appointed after COVID, is digitalizing everything, like paperless government. That was the campaign name, paperless government. So everything for you as like the other part, the recipient part, or the one who's asking services, is quite easy and fair. Yeah, well, online can be quite frustrated for some people, but even if you don't know how to do things, you can simply ask someone who's specialized. Well, you don't have to go somewhere to do this, to do that. You can manage your company from your laptop pretty much. Even when it comes to changing partners, adding shares, things like this, you sign the documents and you send it to the relevant authorities and they take the proper action. How much does it, can I answer Maria? She's asking how much does it cost to start a virtual business there?
I think you can answer that, but also mention the tax benefits in comparison to other countries as well. Go ahead.
Sure. So as any other countries, we have mainland companies and free zone companies. I think I mentioned in my previous meeting that mainland companies might have an 8% corporate tax after 3 years by maybe 2025. Maybe. It's not sure yet. It's unused, but it's not sure yet. However, free zones doesn't have any corporate tax. So your actual business income is tax-free. However, of course, if you're a worldwide tax citizen, like the United States, Argentina, countries like this, you will pay taxes like on your income tax. It's a tax-free country except value-added tax, which is 5%, very low compared to any country, the minimum. And the value-added tax you only paid on the goods and services. For example, if you're buying a can of Coke, you're paying a 5% extra as a VAT. All the prices here are VAT included, like even if you're buying anything, the price tag, that's VAT included, so you don't have to do the calculation or anything. How would this relate to your crypto or to you trading crypto or things like that? Or how Dubai is crypto friendly is the right question also. I would say that a year ago, Dubai government have issued an actual regulation to organize a committee, right? To organize exchanges that are established here. So, and it's only an organizational step. There's no intention of putting any crypto tax. There's no intention of actually monitoring the people who trade crypto. No, the only intention is to organize the entities that exchange crypto. For example, CZ moved here. A couple of other like crypto giants have moved to Dubai. So they need to organize that a little bit. Moreover, when it comes
just
to
for people to know, like CZ is the owner of Binance, just so people know like who you're talking about.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, so CZ is the owner of Binance. So there's a lot of like things that are moving towards crypto friendly. Actually, even before that law was issued, the country has been always crypto friendly. They have issued, I believe, in 2 free zones, an actual license for like crypto trading. Like you can get that license. However, I don't recommend to get that crypto trading license for banking reasons, I would say, because it happens that some of my clients or one of my clients got a crypto trading license in a specific free zone. And when he applied for a bank account, just too many questions to answer. So you can always choose a different activity than crypto trading. However, when it comes to the bank, they do understand what's going on with crypto. If you're transferring money or exchanging USDT, I would say they are very reasonable and understandable, as long as you're just, if for example, you got audited one time or anything, you know what is the source of that income, whether it was a trade or it was someone sending you money for services in the form of crypto, etc., etc.
I think another issue, just to add to Maria's question and maybe answer Maria's question in terms of cost, is like the freedom of capital, which I kind of put that to test. I don't disclose here how I tested that, but I was myself very curious about how free and how easy it is for you to move capital. I don't have bank accounts, but I was concerned for the sake of clients and members, how difficult it would be to move capital in Dubai. So I made a test of concept, and I was really impressed at how quickly and how easy and like friction-free, like no questions, like capital can move in and out of Dubai. I was really impressed with that. So go ahead, Moustafa.
So I think that's all about Dubai in general, or United Arab Emirates. I would definitely like to talk about more angles when it comes to the United Arab Emirates. Like it's a very good country in my point of view to live in. Like the lifestyle is just fascinating. The only I would say cons about the United Arab Emirates, as I said, is the health insurance. You don't get that like compared to other countries. It's a little bit expensive, but that's about it. I would like to give a glimpse about Bahrain. It's kind of
Yes, but forget not
it's,
a question from Maria. Maria had a question about
yeah.
the cost of establishing business. So go ahead.
It depends on what is the business activity you would like to get, Maria, and in which free zone you would like to open the business. It differs. Free zones are, just to explain for you simply what is a free zone. Free zone is simply a piece of land in the country that is just there to establish business for people who don't have maybe enough money to establish it in the mainland, or they don't have to have a physical office, and also they're not gonna conduct business outside of this piece of land, right? So they don't get taxed. So there's almost 45 free zones in this country. Every free zone is specialized in something, or the main activity that is moving the free zone is like differs from a free zone to another. However, usually the cost, I believe, ranges between, if I'm talking in dirham, between maybe 27,000 to 30,000, 40,000, depending on the license and how many activity you're gonna put on the license. Because every activity you put, that's a charge for you. And also depending on whether you're going to get a visa only, or you just need a license to practice that activity and open a bank account, etc., etc., etc. That's beyond that price is just like the government fees or the free zone fees. That's apart from the lawyer fees.
And one thing that also I can let you guys know is like, if you guys have questions, please ask those questions and then can post like better answers to them on the chat, but also you can contact us and have a free have a possibility to book a consultation call with Moustafa if you're interested on moving on that aspect. But now I think I want to talk about other countries that you want to mention. Moustafa, go for it.
So I want to mention Bahrain, just like a very brief information about Bahrain. Bahrain is the first country, I would say, in the Middle East, not only in the Gulf, that actually hosted a crypto exchange since 2011 or 2012. I cannot remember. The name was Ryan. It was a Middle Eastern crypto exchange. I think 3 months ago, I was reading about the regulation of the Central Bank of Bahrain and how do they understand crypto payments, and that sometimes they do accept crypto payments, etc., etc. I had a meeting with one of the people that had, I would say, and regulations are a little bit different in the United Arab Emirates. It's not that open. They're not that like open. However, it's very crypto friendly. If you would like to open an exchange there, or if you would like to open a company that is going to deal strictly in crypto, sending payments back and forth from different countries, I believe it's a really good option. This is a yearly fee or one-time fee. Can I answer the question for Maria?
Yeah, we'll go for it.
No, this is a one-time fee, and you pay a yearly fee on renewal. So every year you pay around 11,000 dirhams, or depending also on how many activity you have. However, you pay to renew your license.
Okay, and what is that in dollars? Sorry, I don't know. I don't know that currency. What would that be in dollars? The renewal fee?
Around $3,000, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
And the company would be around, say, from $9,000 to $12,000 or less.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, do you guys have any questions when it comes to the Middle East or United Arab Emirates or Bahrain? I just would like to know that before I move to the other country, because it's in a different continent and it's totally different vibe.
Yeah, the one thing that I want to like point to people here is another question I should like to make people aware of, like, and I know some people have done this, and again, this is not tax or financial advice, it's just some possibility for you to look into. You can be a citizen in one country, and you can have a company in another country, and then your company will be subject to the taxation laws of that country. So if you have a more friendly country to have a company, you may want to have a company there, and then you may hire yourself as an employee of that company, and then whatever salary you pay to yourself on that company, you'll be paying tax on your individual salary that you receive on another continent, but your company per se will be in a space where there's more friendly taxes. So this is just like a sketch or layout for you guys to think about, and then of course the details intrinsic of that, I recommend you guys calling Moustafa, or just let us know that you want to call him and talk more about that. So go ahead, Moustafa.
Sounds good. I think what you talked about is absolutely a great idea. Usually people, the perfect setup would be opening an LLC somewhere, whether it's in your home country or even any other country, and then under the name of this LLC, open a company here in Dubai, appoint yourself or hire yourself as an employee, start giving yourself a salary, and pretty much, I believe, even if you're a US citizen, you'll get lower tax. I cannot remember exactly how much will be lowered as taxes on income. But there's a lot of ways of setting up like trust companies even here. If you want to set up a trust company and this trust company owns all your assets, and you can start like, not only getting salary, but writing yourself stuff, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of setups available. but it depends on every case. Like there's no one client I worked on his case is similar to another case. They're all different, especially when it comes to immigration. Everyone have his own needs and reasons to go for whatever option he's gonna go for.
No, move on, Moustafa. Go for it.
Sure. Now I'm going to talk about Portugal. They're offering something called D7 visa. I believe it's been there for like a year and a half or even more. It's pretty much a passive income visa. So if you would like to move to Europe, you can apply for D7 visa in Portugal. You need to show them that you're getting, it's kind of a freelance visa, but without the taxation part, if that makes any sense, because if you stay in a certain days, you'll be taxed, and it differs from a citizen to another, from a national to another. However, the main point of this visa is simply that you're getting a passive income from whatever business you are getting, and you're gonna apply to stay in Portugal for 183 days. You have to stay 6 months plus inside the country to be able to renew for the second year and third year. And after the 5th year, you can convert this into a permanent residency and apply for the citizenship. However, from my own like personal experience when it comes to the golden visa with Portugal, applying for the citizenship is quite hard because they have to have ties to the Portuguese community, and it's quite a wide open phrase, I would say. But the D7 visa is quite like Highlander. There's no golden passport, there's a golden visa, I would say. A golden visa is just a terminology for people who are investing money in the country, and in return they're getting a permanent residency. That's why they call it a golden visa. There's a golden visa.
Visa, like the Visa
Yeah.
card, VISA, like
Oh,
a
like
visa.
a golden, so it is so a golden visa, so a credit card you're talking about.
No, is with like
No.
a visa entry
Okay.
authorization.
Okay, so golden visa
like-
entry. Okay. I just wanted to
A
be
gold-
clear because I wasn't.
It's okay, Linda. It's like a
And-
golden residency, pretty much.
One thing I want to add,
And
Moustafa, which is
You
important
mentioned it with
also.
reference to the to Dubai as well. I mean,
No.
so is it something that's international, or that's the part I didn't understand.
No, before he answers, I'm going to say something which is I think is important. If you have a visa for Portugal, you can travel throughout all Europe in the Schengen area, so you don't have to be restricted to Portugal. And sorry, you can answer now, Moustafa.
Yeah, that's true. If you have a visa to Portugal, you have no problem entering any Schengen country. Like, you don't even stamp your passport, you just travel.
Yeah, but I think
So
Linda has a question also about, like, I think she's not understanding how separate the golden visa of Portugal is from the residency of Dubai.
So no, that's a totally separate thing. So it's the golden visa for Dubai is like a visa that they give to people who invest certain amount of money inside the country, whether it's in real estate or in bank accounts, for example, as saving accounts, or maybe company even. So once you pass a threshold of money inside the country, they issue for you a 10-year visa, which is usually 3 million dirham plus, which is 1 million dirham plus, $1 million plus in dollars, right? They give you the 10-year visa, and they call it a golden visa or a golden residency, right? But that's pretty much it. That's the golden visa for Dubai. As for, I would say, Spain or Portugal, they have also something called golden visa, right? Which is the same concept, but you invest in real estate or in business with a minimum threshold of money, right? And they issue for you that golden visa. And the golden visa is not really a golden visa in my own perspective. But I believe it's like a temporary visa for a year, then another year, then you renew it for 2 years, and then at the 5th year, you renew for a permanent residency. However, this doesn't happen here in Dubai or United Arab Emirates. You don't get a permanent residency. Maybe that's the difference. And also in Portugal or Spain, you can apply for citizenship. Here, there's no way you're applying for citizenship, although there is a citizenship law in place. However, they don't give their citizenship to any foreigners. That's the difference between both. As for what I was talking about, Linda, it was the D7 visa. It's a humble visa or humble program where you're making money, for example, online, right? And you want to move to a Schengen country, which is a Portugal. You simply apply saying that you are obtaining income or even a passive income, even if you have a house and you're renting it out and you're getting your money on your bank statement and you have the proper documents, you can simply say, I have a passive income, for example, of $5,000 a month or $3,000 a month. And I want to apply for a visa that is called D7 visa to stay in Portugal. And when you apply, it's D7, Renata, D7. So when you apply for that visa and when you're granted the visa, you're committed to stay 6 months plus inside the country, right? To renew for the 2nd year. But the problem is when you apply or when you stay 183 plus days inside Portugal, then you're a tax resident of Portugal. That's another concern for people who get taxed internationally, like US citizens. Is that clear?
Yeah, I also post a link for those who may be interested on which
Schengen
countries.
country?
Yeah, so like a post there so they can know. And also I think it's important to note that, for instance, Monaco, San Marino, and Vatican City, even though they're not members, you still have open borders with Schengen countries. And Switzerland is also there. So
yeah, well, Slovakia also, I believe. Some Batavia, I think. So that's pretty much about the Portuguese, I would say, D7 program or passive income visa. Do you have any questions, Boy, or would you like to add any?
no, I don't have any questions. I just like want to emphasize what you say, like, if you get this visa for Portugal, just make sure you don't stay more than 180 days there. Otherwise, you become a tax resident. I think you covered that as well. So
That's
yeah,
that's the thing. You have to stay actually more than 180 days if you'd like to renew. That's one of the things.
yeah.
However, if usually Portugal have tax agreement with other countries, for example, if you're a citizen and you're getting taxed on your income, I think there's a certain regulation when it comes to that, but it have to be treated case by case.
All right. So I wonder for the audience, like, how is this for you guys? Do you have any questions?
Good. Good.
Yeah. Are you enjoying, Maria?
Much so, very much so. I only wish I was younger. You know, it's kind of hard in your 70s to move around like that. I don't think I see myself, but I could see exporting my part of my business, Moustafa. That's what I see, is being able to do my business from another country. So I have the tax implications happening, you know, that I would do no problem, especially if I don't have to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the for the most people here, the most beneficial would be to move the corporate person to another location. But I see Linda and Didier got their hands up, so go for it, guys.
Didier, you go first.
It's just a quick question, Moustafa. You mentioned the amount of days, for instance, for Portugal, 153, 180, whatever. When you leave the country, when you leave Portugal, Does one get a stamp in the passport?
Yes.
An exit stamp?
Here's the thing, which is a little bit tricky, but supposedly I'm going to tell you what is legal and what is not, and what is considered to be, I'd say, maybe you can pass it. But when you enter the Schengen area, you get a stamp, whether you entered, for example, let's say you landed in Spain and you took a car to Lisbon, or you land, for example, but technically you stayed in Portugal for 183 days. Once you exit out of the Schengen area, you get another stamp. However, if you're in Portugal and you travel to Spain by car, no one actually knows that you have been in Spain. Like there's nothing to prove that you've been in Spain unless you took a plane and you registered. If you have a residency card, he will, like, it will be scanned that you travel to Spain. That's the only thing. So yes, you do get a stamp exiting and entering the country.
Thank you, Moustafa.
Linda?
Moustafa, thank you. And others might be able to speak to this. And I don't even know if this question is too general, but when I ask myself why I would be worried about, say, owning property in another country. And I know we're not really talking about owning property, but maybe owning a business. In Dubai, in Dubai, we know you're an attorney, so we would have an advantage, because the fear that I have is things can happen in countries where governments do things and suddenly you have property and then you don't have property anymore. Now that happens here too, but because it's my country, if they try to pull eminent domain on me, I know what to do. But I think that's the hesitancy I have about owning in other countries. I personally would love to own a property in Portugal, for example, but my worry would be, how do you negotiate the red tape? I've spent the whole day today negotiating red tape just with my county government to build a damn dock on the property that I own. So, I just think, oh, it's so distant and so complicated, and would I be at a disadvantage? Maybe your clients, what are their experiences with this? Any horror stories or any good endings?
I can talk about my experience, if Moustafa allow me, in Portugal, because I have been there recently.
Sure.
So I also like looking for property in Portugal, and I come from Brazil where there's no private property. Okay, I come from a country where private property is non-existent. If you have a property in Brazil in terms of real estate and you travel, when you come back, your property is with somebody else inside. Good luck trying to get those people out. So there's no private property in Brazil. So I came like very worried, like very years off to Portugal. And when I look at the laws in Portugal, I'm talking about the north. I'm not going to talk about the south. I'm talking about the north part of Portugal, like Porto area, and so, because I know there's also difference between the areas. And I wanted to buy a piece of land. I want to build something really not common, which is an earthship. And the earthship doesn't have sewage connection and like connection to the grid and whatnot. But I want to also have closer to the water, right? Like I don't want to be dependent on the state from water. So I actually was looking for a piece of land where the source of clean water is literally within my home. And because I don't want to have connection to the sewage system, I was very concerned about the laws and that will be breaking. And I wanted to make a deal with the municipality where I would take a test of the water 50 meters before my land, and then about 50 or 100 meters below my land, and compare the quality of water to make sure that I'm not contaminating the water and whatnot. And I went to the chamber, the municipality in charge of the implementing the laws of regulation. So the laws are one thing in Portugal. And I remember the lady saying, let's go outside, I need to smoke. Truth, she didn't smoke. She just needed to go outside of the working area and say, listen, your land is your land. As long as your neighbors do not complain to us, we're not going to send anyone there to see what you're doing in your land. Your land is yours until your neighbors come and complain to us. So that was my experience in the north of Portugal. Now I want to, Moustafa, maybe can talk more about that. So those concerns of like people invading your property and whatnot, I have a very good relation in the north of Portugal with some people. And I can guarantee you, like, I have no concern about property being invaded or someone else taking my property. And now government laws changing, what I like about Portugal, there's the government and there's the people. There's like a very separate border between people. People don't see government as their friends. Like if you come to Netherlands, government is Jesus and God, and we are the servants. In Portugal, it's like government do whatever they want to do. We do our things here as locals. That is the culture in Portugal. So go for it, Moustafa. I want to know if you have an experience with other clients and how it is.
Sure. So no, I didn't have nightmares in Portugal. Well, definitely had some challenges, but I believe Linda have a valid point. The valid point comes in some government approvals when you want to change something or you want to do renovation, especially when we were selling properties in Portugal for golden visa. Some of the conditions that you would get the property for is that you're going to renovate the property with a certain amount of money. And with that, you have to get some approvals for it. For example, if you want to change something, if you want to do this, if you want to do that. The only like obstacle that you're going to find there, if you're not there, if your lawyer is not good enough or he's not on top of his game, I would say, then it's a problem because he's not going to follow up correctly. He's not going to answer you. He's going to be delayed, etc., etc. But apart from this, I don't think there's no actual problem when it comes to ownership in Portugal or in Europe in general. I would say if you agree with me, Poif, like Europeans are Europeans, you know, they know their rights. Anything.
I think your point is well taken because I mean, I've always been someone who, if I anticipate a problem, I don't wait till I have a problem to consult an attorney. I go proactively. I pay for an hour of time. I don't try to get it for free. I say, let me have an hour of your time at your rate. And I anticipate the problem. So of course, that would be the answer too. In Portugal would be to find a reputable attorney who knows the law that governs people, foreigners who own property and so on and so forth, and consult with them first. So really, it's an easy answer. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. It's the same thing I do here.
No, but two things, Linda. Two things that you need to know. Like, I still would say, don't get in trouble with your community. I have seen people who check all the boxes in terms of property, but they get in conflict with their neighbors, and then their neighbors make their life like they don't lose their property, but they have a lot of problems. So I would say, like, being in Portugal,
be nice.
Like make sure you are friends with your neighbors. I see a lot of, and I'm not saying it's your case. I'm just like for the sake of people who may be listening to the replay, I see some American people who come and they want to bring their culture into the area. That is the wrong way. So for instance, I am not a religious person in the area where I am. For instance, when I'm there, I'm not Catholic, but guess what? They have a mass twice a month. I attend to it. I'm like, sometimes I take the elder people to the open market because it's like a 25-kilometer distance. I bring them some gifts from Netherlands, like, but I'm not a religious person. Also, I don't kind of share my religious belief with the neighbors. I respect their own religion. So it's like, be respectful to the environment that you are in, regardless of having good lawyers or whatever. Make sure you're friends with your neighbors. That's one thing I would say to Portugal.
Yeah, I think that's post ownership like part when you actually go and live there.
I think that's universal. I mean, I think that's the secret to being welcome anywhere you go is to be willing to give in to that. I mean, that happens everywhere, even within the US. We're so big. In the South, for example, people really do resent people from the North coming down and saying, oh, this is how we do it in New York. You just don't, if you want to get along with somebody or just enjoy where you are, what's the old saying? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. So I hope the only complaint they might have is that maybe they don't like my lasagna.
One thing I just want to answer for you, Linda, is the fact that like some things happen in the country or the governments do this and do that. I don't think that's applicable in the case of Portugal or even here in Dubai. Maybe in my own home country, Egypt, that something might happen. Your property might be taken away from you, like for some kind of resort or something. But here there's quite strict laws when it comes to that. Private properties or private ownership, it's protected by law, like very strictly. I want to move to another country, so if anyone have any questions about Portugal or anything that we talked about so far, you're more than welcome to ask.
I think go for it, Moustafa. I think we're gonna go a bit over the hour, but go for it.
Sorry, I
No, go for it.
think Lawrence have asked about Estonia e-residency. I don't know much about the e-residency because the idea of it is quite bizarre a little bit, in the sense that you don't get an actual residency. Your residency is pretty much an access to some business hubs around Schengen zone or Europe in general. You can establish a business there for sure without being there. That's absolutely right. However, what are the facilitation when it comes to the post-business setup, if that makes any sense? That's also a good question that I always ask myself whenever I look at establishing a business outside, is what is after establishing the business? Can I manage that business? Can I do bank transfers? Can I open a bank account? How honest or how front is the person that is establishing this business for me in the other country when it comes to that, when it comes to the post business setup? Like, what about the operational part of the business that you're going to run? Because that's a very important point. I believe Poif was asking me about setting up a business in Dubai, and he was talking about the banking part of it. I've explained for him like how the banking works here and how the business bank account is being opened, and it's not that hard, but it's not that easy. Also, you need to have proper documentation, this and this.
Yeah, I just one thing, because we are close to the hour before you go, Moustafa. I think we forgot to say, but I think we can keep record. Mia, we got the list of the newcomers, right? The newcomers do have a right to a 30-minute call to consult with me. So we didn't mention that, but I think we got their names. I think I saw at least one person.
See anyone here.
I saw someone earlier.
There was Scarlett Chia before, but I don't see her anymore. Yeah, I noticed
okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Moustafa.
Okay, so I just want to give a glimpse about Panama. We used to have a program that is canceled. I believe there's only one program or the easiest program that is available there is something called a friendly country residency, where you can open a corporate and obtain a residency if you're from a list of 50 countries. On that list is the United States for sure. Panama is considered, I would say, a tax haven for most people, but that's pretty much it. I think the hour is over, Poi, for
if nobody minds, I mean, we can go over a little bit, Moustafa. We'll talk about when we share what you want to share, and I think we can go a few minutes if people are still interested in listening to this. Go ahead.
No problem. I would like to talk also about something else that pretty much Westerners and crypto investors have been heading to, not only residencies or relocating to different countries, but staying in the same country as you are, but obtaining a second passport. I believe I talked about this previously. So mainly, what is it? Is that some people, for example, US citizens cannot open Binance or cannot apply for a Binance account if they're a US citizen, except on Binance US. I've had US citizen applying for second passports and opening their crypto, let's say, accounts on normal Binance or normal exchanges other than the one from the US. Some people prefer secrecy when it comes to their crypto trading or crypto investment. However, as a US citizen, the IRS, of course, keep an eye on you as a crypto trader. That's why people are going to those options. You can simply I think there's 5 countries that are offering citizenship by investment, which is pretty much that you're investing, whether in a university or to a national transformation funds. And in return, the country grants you the citizenship, and then you can apply for a passport after. Those countries are absolutely legitimate when it comes to their citizenship programs. It's actually like under the, I'd say, under the eye of the international community, because those countries have access to, or have visa-free access to Schengen, United Kingdom, around 140 countries around the world, including Europe. Those countries are small islands in the Caribbean that maybe have financial difficulties. That's why they are doing those programs. It's pretty decent passport still, although it's a small country. That's pretty much it. I just would like to know if anyone knew about this before.
Yeah, one thing I want to say to add to that though.
That's Marcus.
Yeah, but before Marcus, I just want to say like Roger Ver, which has been Bitcoin Jesus and then became Bitcoin Judas. He has acquired one of those passports. I forgot the island he got a passport for, and then became a resident of Japan. So it is something that not only like credit investors or American citizens are looking for, like a lot of people in crypto try to get a second passport. So I just want to throw that there. Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, I don't have a question. I was just saying that I knew about it. That's all.
Thank you, Maria, for being here. Do you have any question for you? Go, Maria. Okay. Wow. Thank you. Let us know if you want to get a call with Moustafa, though. Just let me know and we arrange that. And that's for everyone who has been here. Like, if you guys want to have and if you're listening to the replay, if you're not live here, if you intend to get a call with Moustafa, just let us know and you arrange that.
Thank you so much, everybody, for this opportunity. Of course, if you'd like to have a call or inquiry, you can always hit me up or get in touch with Boyd and he will arrange it. Thank you again. And
I think Maruda has a question, though. Maruda just was a hand.
Yeah.
Yes, not really a question. Hi, thank you for the presentation. Not really a question, but I'm living in Malta. I'm from Italy. And I just wanted to say this, maybe it's an interesting fact or a fun fact. It depends on your point of view. Here you can actually buy a passport for 600,000 euros. So anyone who wants to, come to Malta can do that just by buying the passport, but buying the passport, and then you have, full access to the European Union. Basically.
Yes, that's true. Malta have a citizenship by investment program that has been there at least for like 7 years or more, but it's quite expensive. But it's still a European passport, and it's also Malta is one of the countries that don't accept anybody applying for their citizenship. Like technically, there is a citizenship by investment program, but they run very thorough due diligence on you, and they ask you for a lot of documents. So yes, there is a Maltese citizenship by investment program.
Wow.
That's my contribution. That's it.
It's quite expensive, though.
It is.
Well, thank you, Moustafa, once again, man, for adding this value. And I hope everyone who has been here has acquired some value, and also those on the replay. I wonder how else. I think maybe, I'm not sure if you were there with us for the first time, Paul, that he came to the Academy. Were you there?
Was I there when?
I don't think you were there when Moustafa came to the Academy.
Oh, no. No, this is the first time I've seen Moustafa.
Okay. How was it for you, Paul?
Oh, it was good. I was familiar with some of it, just through talking with Marcus. We talk about this kind of stuff a lot, but some of it was also new.
Oh. Thank you. So I think we can call it a day. We can call it a wrap. Moustafa, I really appreciate you being here again. And like I say, people in the Academy have a list of questions they want to see you again also in the Academy. Let's see if we can meet this Friday. I'm going to have a meeting with Marcos this Friday. I wish also for you to be there so the three of us can can talk after tomorrow. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate.
Take care.
Wow, wonderful.